Alrighty. Hopefully you find yourself at this link. The other link for the Hatha yoga class wasn't working. We had the same issue on Tuesday night. So I'm going to get to the bottom of what exactly is going on with that one. But if we could just hang tight and sit for a couple moments here, just so that everybody else can find their way onto this video. Here, let me... You just go ahead and give me a second here so that I can go ahead and try to send it to other viewers. Just give me one moment. Okay. Okay. I'm just providing the link to the other video so that people know where to go. Okay. All right, cool. I see that the numbers are starting to kind of pile up here. I apologize for that. I wasn't quite sure what was going on with the original link. So if by chance you have any friends, any climber buddies, or any of that sort that you know is going to take this class, if you could do me a solid and try to send the link for this video and just go ahead and provide it to them. I already put it onto the other link of the original video, hopefully so that if you are able to click on it or your buddies, then they can go ahead and, I don't know, follow it to here. I didn't make YouTube, so I don't know how that works. Yeah. All right, so I'm going live onto my personal Instagram account. So just give me a second here. Maybe turn this up a little bit. Alrighty, awesome. Welcome everybody to the 7 p.m. class. And if you are here for the 6 p.m., thank you so much for joining in and taking some awesome yoga. My name is Julia. In case you haven't taken any of my classes and you are just popping on in, it's nice to virtually meet you. But once you do see us, once the gym reopens, please come and say hello. In case that we haven't personally met yet, I would love to know who not only comes to my classes, but just in general who you are, and just helping grow the climb community in that sense. So for today's practice, what we're going to be needing for our props, I always suggest having 2 blocks with you for every practice. One should be fine, but I personally think it's more beneficial to have an additional block with you just in case. You can provide yourself with a blanket and a pillow. And if you were here in the previous class, you will see some similarities only for the fact that this week with my series, my classes with Adventure Rock, we are working with the side body. And so some poses can be repetitive in that sense since there aren't a whole ton of asanas that we can use for the side body, but that's okay because there's many different sequences and whatnot that we can do with it. So you can go ahead and start to find yourself at a comfortable sitting position. If you need to use a block to help support your spine here or your sitting area, please go ahead and provide that for yourself. So nice and comfortable here. We are going to find a very minimal tailbone tuck, and we're going to engage our lower core, allowing us to feel nice and strong and confident. Nice and supported here. You go ahead and take a deep inhale. Bring your shoulders all the way up towards your ears, allowing your spine to grow tall, and then exhale, rotate your shoulders back. We want to lead with a confident chest here, a little forward and up towards the ceiling, but not enough where we're overarching into the lower spine. From here, you can go ahead and start to find your breath. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. And as we go through our practice today, I want us to imagine the feeling of being tall, of growing tall, and throughout our practice here today, just allow yourself to create as much space as you can for your spine so that we can make the most out of our practice, but get into every nook and cranny that has been either feeling stiff, possibly feeling weak throughout our time, either indoors or spending longer hours at your job, if that is a possibility. And if that is a possibility, we thank you so much for doing the best that you can for yourself. And as we take these breaths here, continually to finding length through our spine, you go ahead and take our palms out to the sides here, and then inhale, rise, bringing our arms up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bringing our Anjali Mudra to the heart center. As we press our palms together here, we want to find the lift through our spine and start to find an opening throughout our shoulders. So as we're pressing the right palm into the left, we're also pressing the left palm into the right. Feeling nice and active into the forearms, into the back of our shoulders here. Creating space into the spine behind us. You can go ahead and set an intention for your practice, whatever influenced you to come onto the mat today. And as we are pressing the palms together, go ahead and interlace the fingers with the left pinky underneath the right. It kind of feels a little creepy for a lot of us here. And point your index fingers towards the ceiling. Have your thumbs touch in towards the gun. Rotate your shoulder. Bring your arms forward. Rotate your shoulders back. And inhale, rise. Bringing your Kali Mudra all the way up towards the ceiling. And we're having the key words of lengthening and creating space. So as we lengthen here throughout our spine, creating enough space so that we can start to inhale, side bend over towards the right side of the room. As we're bending over towards the right side, we want to find that lift through the chest, bringing the arms back, as well as through the back of the crown so that we so that we are creating space into the right ribs so we're not just collapsing. Good. Take those deep inhalations in through the nose and out through the nose, as well as rooting through both your hips and in your knees, but specifically more onto the left side so that we can keep this length here. And I'm starting to see some of the numbers grow on the viewing list. So thank you so much for those who are joining in. For those who found the link in the other video, you go ahead and grab 2 blocks and a blanket for your practice here today, as well as the strap if you have one nearby. Good. Inhale, bring your both arms towards the ceiling, and then exhale, start to side bend over towards the left side. Be nice and conscious with this breath, as well as creating that length with the neck as well, so that we're not just collapsing through our neck, guiding the arms towards the back of the room. 3 more breaths here. Rooting through the right knee and the right hip. The inhale, rise, arms towards the ceiling. And you can go ahead, keep the interlaced hands, bring it behind your head. Good, and then bring your arms forward, your elbows forward, so your shoulders are still intact. Good, finding a straight spine. So when you engage through the shoulders, and it brings your chest exceedingly forward, and you feel like you're bending a lot into the lower spine, just go ahead and engage the core and send your core towards your spine so that we can be nice and straight here. So bringing the elbows forward, staying here for 3 more breaths. Nice and active into the spine, into the arms. Good, and then on the next breath, we're gonna go ahead and bring your elbows out to the side. So we're gonna side bend again, but this time using our elbows instead of straight arms. So as we look through the chest, we're gonna inhale, keeping the arms straight, bringing the right elbow down and sending the left elbow towards the ceiling. Good, and from here we may get a deeper sensation of a stretch since we aren't putting a lot of intention solely into the arm. We're focusing more onto the actual side of our body, stretching out through the serratus anterior and creating a more range of motion into our shoulder socket. Good, actively sending the left elbow back so it's not folding and coming forward. Good, nice and strong for 3 more breaths. Nice. Inhale, rise back into center. Take 2 breaths into the neutral spine. Keeping the arms out, we're going to inhale, start to bend over towards the left side. Good. Bring the left elbows down, right elbow up. Pressing your head into your hands at the same time, your hands into your head. Good. Bringing the right elbow towards the sky, the left elbow down. Good. Creating that side body and sending the core to the spine so that we are not arching into the spine. We're creating the bend to the sides. Rooting through the right knee and the right hip. Stay here for 3 more breaths. Good. With your breath, again, inhale, rise, find that straight spine. Bringing the elbows forward. Take 2 more breaths. Good. And then inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling, out into a Y shape. 2 breaths. And then very gently inhale through the nose. Exhale, release through the mouth, allowing your hands to slowly lead its way onto your knees. Good. Go ahead and just kind of shift through the shoulders here, finding any organic movement. So possibly some shoulder rolls, either one at a time like you're swimming or maybe both. And whichever way that you do rotate, just to make sure that you go the opposite way. as well so that we can find some balance into our rotation. We just worked from side to side into our spine, so let's go ahead and place our hands onto our thighs or our knees here. 5 sets of sitting cat-cow. So from here for a cow, shoulders back, inhale, lead with the chest forward, eye gaze up. Good, and then for your cat, keep your hips into place, but exhale, round through the shoulders, maybe bring your chin to chest. Good. We inhale for a cow and exhale for a cat. So for the next 4 rounds, you could go ahead and do this at your own pace, your own breath, your own personal time on the mat here. Okay. And then after you've done your 5 sets of cat-cow, you can then go ahead and make your way onto your knees. And you can either have your knees together or you can have them apart, whatever feels the most comfortable. Good. Nice. And then as you have your knees apart, you're just going to go ahead and inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. And then you're going to go ahead and hip hinge forward, placing your hands onto the ground into a child's pose. So especially if you feel like your lower spine is especially tight, it might feel better to keep the knees a little more to the center. You're more than welcome to create a little space between if you wanted to kind of play with the distance a little bit so that you can at least get a little experience of working more with your hips. So whatever feels the best for you. Good. We're going to make this nice and active. So we're going to press your hands into the ground and inhale, rise into that cow spine. Exhale, release to the cat spine. Good. You're going to go ahead and keep the right hand where it is. And we're going to do a child's pose, threading the needle. So you can bring your left arm towards the ceiling. 2 breaths. Good. And then in this thread the needle, what we're going to do is we're going to thread the needle, the left arm underneath the right armpit, but we're going to keep the eye gaze forward and stretch our right arm towards the front of the mat. Good. We're going to stay here for 3 more breaths. Good. And for the 3rd breath, you very slowly rebend the right elbow and inhale, rise, left arm towards the ceiling. 2 breaths. And then exhale, release, bringing the hand back to the ground. And then coming to inhale, cow spine, chest forward, eye gaze up. And then exhale, we're going to round through the shoulders and the cat, chin to chest. Good. Coming back into that neutral spine with the right arm. We're going to inhale, rise, and bring it up towards the ceiling for 2 breaths. And then on the exhale, we're going to go ahead and thread the needle, placing the right arm underneath the left armpit and extend the left arm forward. And you may notice that you could be tighter on this side or possibly more flexible. You're going to see that a lot throughout your body as you practice your yoga because we are asymmetric. That's okay. Take 2 more breaths. Good. Bend at the left elbow and then inhale, rise, bring the right arm towards the ceiling. Then exhale, release. Inhale, cow spine. Exhale, cat spine. Good. And then from here, bringing the knees in. Bring them out and go ahead and do a windshield wipe. And after the windshield wipe, we will go into a tabletop position. Good. So then from here, find yourself at your tabletop position and possibly bringing the blanket underneath the knees if you want some additional support. And with your 2 blocks, we're going to go ahead and grab them. You're going to place them towards the front of the mat. We're going to come into an extended puppy pose. So just backing up from my Instagram camera. Good. Next. And so in this extended puppy pose, we're going to keep our hips on top of our knees here. So engage the quads and press the top of your feet into the mat. And then start to walk your blocks outwards and bring your chest down and your arms forward like you would in a downward facing dog, except our knees are just on the ground. Good. So you can place your hands onto the blocks if you would like more of a shoulder opening. If you don't want that, that's fine. You can just remove the blocks. This is just if you want a little oomph into your practice. So your tailbone's active towards the sky, chest is going down towards the ground. If you wanted to, you can also place the blocks onto your forearms if that's more comfortable. So you can also let your elbows rest on the blocks too, if that's more comfortable as well. Everybody is different. But wherever you are at, just stay here for 3 more breaths. Good. Then inhale, rise, and remove the blocks, and then bring your hands back down for your extended puppy pose. So keeping your hips where they are, we're just going to go ahead and walk our hands over towards the left side of the room. Good. Staying here for 5 breaths. So you can go ahead and explore this depth. And after your 5 breaths, you can then go ahead and walk your hands back to the center and then stay here for 2 breaths just to reset your spine. Then once you feel reset, you go ahead and start to walk your arms towards the right side of the room. Then after the 5th breath, you can then go ahead, inhale, walk back to your extended puppy pose. And from here, you can choose to either keep your knees hip length apart, or you can bring your knees outward with your big toes to touch. We're going to thread the needle again, but this time we're actually going to go for the spinal twist and not for a shoulder opening here. So either hip length apart or knees apart, big toes to touch. Come into an all fours position. And then I would have a pillow or a block handy and just place it in front of you. But once you're ready, you go ahead and take an inhale, bring your right arm towards the ceiling. And then as we exhale, we're going to thread the needle, placing our right shoulder to the ground and our right ear. So if you wanted a little extra cushion, you can invite a pillow underneath your right ear. And then this way, we get a little bit of a twist into our practice. And with your left arm, there are many different ways that we can explore this pose. If you wanted to, you can extend your left arm towards the front of the mat. You can also bring the arm all the way back behind your spine, where the top of your hand is on towards your back, or possibly all the way behind our back to grab onto our right thigh to deepen our twist. And then you can always keep the left hand neutral in front of your face if that feels good for you today. These are just all the different ways that we can either stretch out through our arm, our side body, or possibly getting deeper into our twist. And this class is meant to be a slow flow, so meant to be a little restorative, but for some of those who like a little oomph into your practice, if you wanted to, you can also stretch your left leg to the side with either your foot flat to the ground or having your ankle up and your knee towards the ground. And that's if you want a little bit of a stretch into your leg. Otherwise, it's fine to keep it where it's at. These are just different options that we can do here. But stay here for 3 more breaths wherever you are at. Good. If your leg is extended out, go ahead and return it to the mat. Good. As well as gently returning your left arm back to neutral. Slowly straightening out through the spine and bringing your right arm back to neutral. Good. And anyway, either cat-cow or maybe hip sway side to side, whatever you would like organically to reset through your spine. My personal favorite, if you got any SpongeBob fans, is bringing it around town. You bring your hips back, they're bringing it forward because that helps stretch out your arms and your hips and your spine. It's my favorite. And then once you feel all reset here, we're going to go ahead and take it to the opposite side. So just so they can hear me, I'm going to flip my side here. Good. So now we're going to take it to the left, or working with the left side. Inhale, bringing your left arm towards the ceiling. Good. And then exhale, we're going to thread the needle. And you can meet the left ear to the pillow if you have one, or maybe a block for some support. I prefer a pillow. I think it's a little easier onto the head than a block would be, but some people like a block. And then the same goes with the right hand. You can either have it extended towards the front of the room. You could bring it all the way behind your back, and even deeper to grab your left thigh to encourage you to deepen your twist. Good. And the bottom hand should be active, so the hand and the arm just gently pressing into the ground to help deepen your twist. And if you want a little oomph into your practice, you do have the option to extend the right leg out to the side, either the heel up with the knee down, or a flat foot if that feels better for you. Wherever you are, take 5 breaths so we can even out from the other side. And after your 5th breath, if your leg is extended out, go ahead and meet it back to the mat, as well as with your right arm, go ahead and bring it back into neutral. And then engage the core. Inhale, come back onto your left arm and find those organic movements to reset yourself. Maybe side to side sways, cat-cow spines, nice and gentle, or bringing it around town with your hips. Just making sure that you're always reversing the rotation. Good. Nice. And then from here, we can go ahead and come into a supported plank position, just moving your pillow out of the way. Coming into that supported plank position. So engage through the core, hands above the wrists, or shoulders above the wrists, I should say. Good. And then as we find the supported plank here, we're going to go ahead and inhale, shift forward, coming chaturanga all the way to the mat. Inhale into a cobra. Exhale, release. We're going to curl the toes. Inhale, rise. Supported plank. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Hips are towards the air. Ceiling, and then guiding your chest down in between your shoulder blades. Finding maybe some pedaling so that we can stretch out each hamstring at a time. Tailbones up towards the sky, and fall, and finding a hollowness into the lower spine, as if there's a bowling ball into the spine to help us hip hinge more. Good. Generous bend to the knees. Stay here for a few breaths, bringing your stomach towards your thighs, tailbone up towards the sky, chest towards the ground. 2 more breaths. Good. And then from here, we're going to round through the heels and inhale, round through the shoulders, coming into full plank. Good. Chaturanga, flip the feet, inhale, upward facing dog. Stay here for 3 breaths, bringing your chest forward and upwards. Good. And then on the inhale, lift up through the hips. Exhale, downward facing dog. Cuddle out the knees if you need to. Good. Bend through the knees, gaze forward, and go ahead, hop, step, or walk to the front of the mat into your Uttanasana forward fold. Into your forward fold, go ahead and kind of spread your feet a little more than hip length apart, bringing the tailbone back, sending the chest forward, finding this figure 7 here to start. And then as you're here into this figure 7, you're then going to head, press your hands into the thigh to help bring your chest forward, finding a straighter spine, and slowly guiding your chest towards your knees here. And then allowing yourself to find that natural curve into your spine, grabbing onto your elbows and just slightly pendulum swinging back and forth. Good. And to make sure that we aren't putting a lot of strain onto that lower spine, we do want to engage or our quads or hug our thigh meat and lift up through the kneecaps. It's going to help us hip hinge here a little better. It uses the momentum of our feet to help us pendulum swing so that we're not putting a lot of strain onto the lower spine. We want the effort in our feet, not into the spine here. Good. 2 more breaths. Good. Hands to the shin. Find that figure 7 cow spine. Good. Bring your heels closer. And then exhale, hip hinge, forward fold. Tailbone up, chest down. Find your peace fingers and press your peace fingers into the mat. Inhale, find that half lift. Good. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and find your peace fingers walking over towards the left side of the room. As it's towards the left side, go ahead and bring your left hip towards the front of the mat. Staying here for 3 breaths. Then exhale, release after the 3rd. 1 breath into the center. Inhale, halfway lift with your peace fingers. Then exhale, forward fold. Go ahead and walk your peace fingers over towards the right side of the room and bring your right hip crease forward. For those 3 breaths. And after you have maintained those 3 breaths, you can then go ahead and walk back to the front. Take 2 breaths. Inhale into that cow spine. Very softly bend the knees. Exhale, forward fold. Grabbing the blocks, we're going to go ahead and send the left leg back into that running lunge. Into this running lunge. Lifting up through the spine forward here. Placing the blocks possibly by the heels over here. As we find our right knee above our right ankle, we're going to go ahead and drop the left knee in the Anjaneyasana prep. And for this Anjaneyasana prep, pressing the hands into the block and lifting up through the chest, making sure that we aren't overarching into the low spine, that we have it nice and straight here. So if you need to place your right hand on your stomach and your left hand onto your back to lift up through the chest and then get deep into the hips, you can go ahead and do that for yourself here. Bringing the right hip crease forward, right hip crease back. Good. Hands pressing into the box. We're going to go ahead and stay here for 2 more breaths. Good. You're going to go ahead and take the right block into the inside of the right foot. And then with the right hip, we're going to point the right toes towards the right corner of the mat. Good. And kind of have the right knee guide towards the right pinky toe here to help open up through the hip. We want to find that support, pressing the top of the left foot into the mat so that we can release the pressure from our knee as well as protect the joint. Good. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and walk the blocks over towards the left side of the room. And you can keep it at any level that is applicable for you, but we're going to go ahead and come forward into what looks like a lizard leg downward facing dog. So any level that works for you, and if that means not using the blocks, then that's an option too. They're just here to follow in case you need them. And once you find that position that works for you, you go ahead and stay here for 3 more breaths. And after the 3rd breath, you can go ahead and very gently rise up and start to walk back in your Anjaneyasana prep, bringing the blocks with you. Then in this Anjaneyasana prep, we're just going to go ahead and send the right hip crease back to the half splits, finding that straight spine. Good, and you can either have the toes pointed up or towards the front of the mat. And if you need to, you can find that straight spine, or if you wanted to find that hip hinge, you can create that hip hinge here. Engage it through the quad. 3 breaths. All right. And from here, keeping the half split, we're going to go ahead and kickstand the left leg, the left foot towards the right side. And then with the right foot, we're going to internally rotate the hip, finding a flat foot here. Nice. And just in case, you can bring the blocks in front of you, just in case here. But from here, we're going to be onto our left shin. And we're going to come into a reverse side bend, so like a reverse warrior, placing the right hand down, inhale, rise, left arm over towards the right side of the room, making sure that we find this lift in through our chest and through our spine as we bend. Sending the arm back, gauge through the left thigh and the right thigh. There's 2 more breaths. And then our next breath, we're going to inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. We're going to very gently take the right or the left hand down, coming into a half moon variation, Ardha Chandrasana. Engage through the right foot and inhale, lift up through the right hip, right arm towards the ceiling. If you want a little extra challenge, you can pendulum swing the right arm down and bring it towards the front of the mat. Good. Staying here for 3 breaths. Find that core engagement. Good. You can then bring the right arm back towards the ceiling. With the right leg, we're going to go ahead and bend at the knee. Place the right hand on top of the right foot. And we're going to inhale, press the right foot into the hand. Coming into a half moon bend here. Again, a good quad stretch going on. Find that balance. We're going to stay here for 3 more breaths. Good. Inhale, release. And then exhale, drop the right foot. Good. And then from here, we're just going to go ahead and keeping the right foot onto the mat. Right arm up. We're going to inhale, pendulum swing the right arm down towards the front of the room. 2 more breaths. Good. Walking the right hand down and walking in front of your body so that we can keep the right foot onto the mat. And if you need the blocks, we're going to come into that forward fold again like we did before. Good. except not in the lizard pose. We're going to take our hands out if you need the blocks, you have them. If not, just walk forward into this forward fold, keeping the right foot flat. Hips are set back here. If you need to curl the left toes to keep you stable, go ahead and do so. Two more breaths. Inhale, rise up to the chest, and very slowly start to walk back to your half splits. Rebending the right leg, lifting up the left knee. Good. Plant your hands onto the ground. And from here, we're going to engage through the core, bringing the knee in towards your chest, flatten through the left foot. Inhale, rise, three-legged dog, right leg. And then we're going to bend the knee and open up the hip crease. So we open up the hip crease here for 3 breaths. After the third breath, we're going to go ahead and straighten through the right leg, staying into this side body twist for 3 more breaths. And then we're going to square through the hips, keeping the right leg up. Inhale, shift forward into your plank. And then chaturanga, flip the feet, upward facing dog. 2 more breaths. And then exhale, downward facing dog. We can go ahead, bend the knees generously, eye gaze forward. Either hop, step, or walk to the front of the mat, making sure that the blocks are returned to the front. And then as we come back here in our Uttanasana, in our forward fold, again, we're going to go ahead and have the feet spread maybe a little bit more than hip length apart. Bringing the chest forward, tailbone back, coming to that hip hinge, engaging through the quads, grabbing onto our elbows here, and pendulum swinging. Being kind to the lower spine. So using our thighs and our hips more to bend than our spine. Or to hip hinge. Bring the feet back hip length apart. Inhale, find that cow spine, halfway lift. Exhale, hip hinge, forward fold. We can go ahead and grab onto the blocks, and then this time we're going to send the right leg back, coming into that Anjaneyasana prep, and you know what to do from here with the feet. Flip it, chest is lifted, hands onto the block, straightening up through the spine. Pressing your hands with attention to find that lift through the chest. Now, next breath, we're going to go ahead and take the left block to the inside of the left foot. We're going to walk the left foot a little towards the left side, point the toes to the left corner, and guide the left knee towards the left pinky toe. And then from here, we're going to walk the blocks to the right corner. If you need them for your downward facing dog lizard variation we got going on here. We're going to go ahead and stay here for 3 breaths. And very slowly, we're going to rise up. And we're going to go ahead and walk back to our left foot. Grab the blocks here. And then come into half splits. Either toes pointed forward or up. That engagement through the thigh. And then once you are ready, you can come into a little hip hinge here, straightening up through the spine. Good, so carrying the chest down, tailbone back. 3 breaths. we're going to keep that half splits. Just bring the right foot back. Good. We're going to kick the right foot towards the left hip. And we're going to walk and come into the variation for our side angle here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch the sides for a better angle for you guys and gals, for people. Good. So as you're here, we're going to just do a reverse side bend. So placing the left hand down the thigh. Good. And then inhale, rise, right arm towards the ceiling and bending over towards the left side of the room. Total of 5 breaths. Maybe take the eye gaze up to the right thumb, or maybe down to the foot. And so as you have your final, if you have your 5th breath here, sorry, I had to fix my Instagram camera. You can go ahead, inhale, rise, both arms towards the ceiling. Then we're going to lower the right hand. Left arm is lifted. Inhale, half moon variation. If you want to find a little more oomph into your half moon, you could bring the left arm towards the front of the room. Stay here for 3 breaths. Left foot is flexed. It is active. The quad is active. Core is active. Finding a bend to the left knee. We're going to go ahead and take the left arm to grab on top of the left foot. Inhale, press your left foot into your left arm. Total of 3 breaths. After the 3rd breath, you can go ahead and release for your half moon variation. Lower the left foot. And then for the side angle variation, we're just going to go ahead and pendulum swing the left arm down again to stretch the front of the room, rooting from the left foot all the way to the left fingertips. 3 breaths. Nice. We're going to very gently bring that left arm down and walk to the front of your legs here, coming into a forward fold like you would in a downward facing dog. Right. We're going to stay here for 3 breaths. Good. And then you can slowly halfway lift and walk your hands back into that half splits, bringing the right foot back. Good. And we're going to rebend at the left knee, curl the right toes, and then inhale, bring the left foot up into your 3-legged dog. So you're here to your 3-legged dog. We're going to bend the left knee and then open up our hip crease. Keep the knee bent for 3 breaths. And then after the 3 breaths, we're still going to find this twist, but we're just going to straighten out through the left leg. Pointing the toes, keeping the leg active. 3 more breaths. Re-square through the hips, keeping the left leg straight. Inhale, plank, chaturanga. Flip the feet into your upward facing dog for 3 breaths. And then keep the knees to the ground and they come into a child's pose. Take these short, sweet breaths. 2 more because we're near the end of class. Wonderful. You very gently come into your tabletop position and just swing your legs forward. Good. And then from here, You can go ahead and take the blanket out from the mat. If you wanted to, you can find it at a tri-fold here. And I'll show you different variations of what we can do for our Shavasana in the next couple minutes. Good, so just making sure that your blanket and your blocks are to the side. As we go ahead and come onto our spine here, we're going to hug our knees in, and maybe just do a little rock side to side to give our spine a little massage. And throughout this week, we worked a lot with our side body, working with our obliques. We're working with our psoas, with our lower pelvic area and our arms, serratus anterior, all these different areas. So let's be kind and bring our arms to either a cactus or T, whatever feels most comfortable. And inhale, guide your knees over towards the left side. Good. So keeping it, both the shoulders onto the ground. If you need to use some proppage, let me scoot for the Instagram camera. If you need some proppage, you can place a block underneath your knees if you need to. And making sure both shoulders are connected to the mat. Good. On the next breath, inhale, bringing your knees up and guiding them over towards the right side of the room. Maybe take your eye gaze over the left shoulders. Prop up if you need to. We're going to stay here for 3 more breaths. Third breath, inhale, bringing your knees back up towards the ceiling. Good. Pointing your toes to the front of the room, taking your hands above your head here, clasping onto your elbows. Crescent moon, inhale, take the upper body towards the right side, legs towards the right side while keeping the hips in the center, left ankle on top of the right. Stay here for 5 breaths. Onto the 5th breath. You bring yourself back into the center, release the legs, keep the arms into place, and inhale, take the upper body towards the left side of the room and the legs towards the left side, placing the right leg atop the left. And then after your 5th breath, you can return your upper body to the mat, lower body to the mat. Good. And then from here, we are going to start to prep for our Shavasana. So there's 2 different options that we can use for our Shavasana today. If you would like more of a chest opening, you can take a block and you can place the bottom of the block onto the bottom of your rib cage. Good. And so that you can lie your back on top to open up more through the chest and bring your arms up to the T. That's an option. Or if you wanted to have more of a rest for your head and a little more cushion for your spine, you can then instead, hi baby, you can take your block towards the top of the mat and take your little blanket burrito that you made and align it onto the block starting from the top and aligning your spine here. I'm choosing this one since it's already here. Placing your head onto the block if you chose this variation. And you can also place the blanket on top of the block if you're using it for your chest, if you wanted a little extra cushion there. But once you've found your comfy spot for your Shavasana, you can then go ahead for your final stretch of this particular practice. Point your toes to the front of the mat and inhale. Take your arms above overhead. And 3, inhale in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. 3 of those. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And for this last one, take the deepest inhale of the night. Fully expand out through the lungs. And then exhale through the mouth. You go ahead and place your arms wherever is comfortable. Legs wherever is comfortable. And enjoy the next few moments in this well-deserved Shavasana. You're welcome to extend this Shavasana if you would like. But for those who would like to get up and moving and grooving for the rest of your night, you can go ahead and start to create some micro movements from the toes, the ankles, the fingers, and the wrists. Allowing yourself to gently reawaken from your corpse pose, your Shavasana. And then from here, you can inhale, rise, bringing your arms above your head and very gently walking your heels towards your feet or your heels towards your glutes. And then since we're on a prop, we're going to take our forearms and place them onto the ground. Help assist us up through the chest. Find ourselves in a comfortable seated position. And then as we're here in our seated position, we can then go ahead and rise, bringing our arms up towards the ceiling, meeting in the palm center, exhaling. As we, myself for joining this class as well as Adventure Rock as a whole for taking the time to not only make it onto this map today, but specifically taking the time to take care of yourself during these strange times, extending peace and health throughout the rest of your night. And namaste. All right. Thank you, everybody, for attending. I'll move my phone over here. There we go. Yay. So it looks like I'm looking at two screens at once. Good. Awesome. So thank you, everybody, for attending tonight's class. And I hope that you enjoyed it. Like always, if you have any questions on anything that we have done for class, if you have any requests on what you would like to work on for our Tuesday class, whether it be let's just do hips or let's do twists, or if you want to dive deeper into an asana, like, hey, how do we do a revolved triangle, or how, can we do a bound side angle? I can go ahead and incorporate anything into my classes that you would like to see, that you would like to learn about, or need help navigating through. So I will go ahead and provide my Instagram name into the chat, because Santosha could possibly be hard to spell for some of us. Climbing Santosha. And Climbing Santosha, that is also my Gmail. So either Instagram or Gmail, go ahead and send me a message. And you're welcome, Celeste. And Celeste Sarge says hi. Can't help it. I can't lock them up during my videos, or else you probably hear him in the background having a fit. And whenever I do yoga, he just comes and does the stretches. He's a yoga puppy, so he loves all that. But yeah, and as always, like I said before, Adventure Rock is very thankful for all of you for participating in these classes and showing support for our fitness groups and our fitness instructors. So thank you, everybody, for doing all these videos as well, all the fitness and the yoga instructors. And just supporting our gym as a whole in a time that we have to stay closed. And we can't wait to see all of you back at the gym. So please stay up to date with our information for when we will reopen. I would pay attention to your emails, and I would also take the time to stay present in our social media as an Adventure Rock, not my personal social media, so that you can keep updated on when we will reopen, or just at least what is going on with the gym. We just had a blood drive yesterday. So for any of the members who have participated in the blood drive, we thank you very much for taking the time to potentially save somebody's lives. That means so much to everybody, Milwaukee as a whole. So go ahead and continue to follow the Adventure Rock social media. We got Facebook, Instagram, and especially on the adventurerock.com page, because we do have a specific location for all of the COVID information. So please go ahead and favorite or bookmark that onto your computer or your phone, and so that you can follow the fitness groups a little better here. I would suggest subscribing to the YouTube channel, because if you subscribe to it, no matter what, it should show live videos. Because I had that technical difficulty tonight and on Tuesday with the linkage. It was a little weird there. So if you subscribe, then you can see what is live. I think right on your YouTube page. Yeah. little chatterbox over here. But if you have any questions, feel free to come and reach me. Other than that, I hope everybody has a great night. And I know I say it in every video, but I sincerely miss you guys. I cannot wait to have our shenanigans back in class, back on the climbing walls, and especially everybody else, like all the deskers that you come and see every morning. Like, we all miss you. We had a meeting today and we just like can't express how much we want to be back in the gym to see all of you guys walking in. It's going to be such a breath of fresh air once we get to be able to spend some time together again. All right. Well, I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your night. I'm going to go and spend more of my life on Animal Crossing. So I'll see you later. Bye.